Hello everybody and welcome to this revamped edition of Bill Chase in the Movies, and I am your host, of course, Bill Chase, and we got a big bonanza for you. Of course, my cameraman, Mr. Mike Trickett, was away on vacation for a while, so we've been delayed a bit, but we are back and better than ever right now. So here we go. Let's kick things right off with our first review, Grown Ups, the new ensemble comedy, led up by, of course, Adam Sandler, of course, done by his production group, Happy Madison Productions. Now, of course, in this film, how can you really go wrong? You got 5 comedic heavyweights. You got the very funny Adam Sandler. You got Chris Rock, one of the most famous comedians in the world. Kevin James, a very energetic, more, I'd say, toned-down version of Chris Farley. Of course, you also have Rob Schneider, who, despite some of his questionable starring roles, has always been a reliable supporting comedic actor. And then finally, to top it off, you have David Spade, another guy who's always been good at being a supporting character. But yet, what this movie lacks, however, is the central theme of a good plot and character development. Basically, they just slap the labels on these characters of who they are, and that's it. The premise of the story is that these 5 friends get together to reunite for their coach's funeral, the coach that coached them back in middle school and helped them along, well, I guess, learn about life, if you will. It's one of those, coach inspirational things, yada, yada, yada. But either way, that's really nothing. As a matter of fact, the plot, if you want to call it that, means nothing generally in this movie. However, with these 5 guys, you're going to get a funny movie regardless of what happens. Now, in my opinion, however, Chris Rock does have a couple good lines, but is really underutilized. Kevin James, at the same time, has not been used to his full potential of energy. And yet the big scene stealer here, I thought, the big scene stealers, I should say, were David Spade, Rob Schneider, and of course Joyce Van Patten, surprisingly, who plays Schneider's much older wife. The scenes that they did together were genuinely funny, and they used a bit of genuine sweetness, which is kind of strange considering the relationship, but it did work. Another thing too is that the supporting characters just seem to be lost in the shuffle. For such example as talented actors such as Salma Hayek and Maya Rudolph are not really used to their utmost potential in this film, and as well as Maria Bello, fantastic actress, reduced to breastfeeding jokes. But the dialogue and some of the lines here are just downright hilarious. So you cannot refute the fact that these 5 guys, when they get together, it's just pure comedic anarchy. That said, however, you really would hope for something more in a film like this. You would hope for something on the level of The Hangover with these 5 guys. But let's face it, people, if movies in the last 2 years have taught me anything, it's that loading a movie with an ensemble cast isn't necessarily going to pay off. It's the fact that they promoted that, most movies that are promoted with that aspect just do not ever really pan out. I cannot believe how, it seems like ever since Crash was a success, that they've tried, many people of any genre, many movies of any genre, I should say, have tried to overload their movies with ensemble cast, saying that it'll just carry itself. But you need strong material. This movie doesn't have strong material, but it has good enough to carry it as a very funny comedy. I give Grown Ups 3 stars out of 5.